Welcome to Sri Shakti at the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is the face behind PU's offline branding and event magic. We have with us Manasa Jyothi Pandith, Senior Lead Offline Branding and Event Marketing at PayU and a LinkedIn Top Live Events voice. With over 8 years of expertise in curating exceptional offline branding strategies and live events, Manasa has become a driving force in shaping impactful experiences for startups, developers, and merchants. Join us as we dive into a journey of innovation, leadership, and the art of creating unforgettable moments. So, friends, this will be a conversation packed with insights, laughter, and inspiration. Welcome, Manasa, to today's coffee conversation.
Thank you so much, Amir. I think this is a wonderful opportunity for me to finally be a guest and not just a host. Like I was just telling you, my personal experience has been, and professional experience has been more so as the host and never as the guest. I did take part in maybe two round tables, and that obviously about events only. And that was so closed door and it was never out in the open like this. So I really hope I do justice to what is coffee conversations that you have put up all until now 350 plus international as well as in India, and also to the audience who's watching us today. I really hope you have something to take back after this conversation, and thank you so much once again, Amir, for giving me the opportunity.
Wow. Okay. So, so friends, let me explain you the format first. Then I'll introduce myself and the conversation. So there are three rounds: professional, personal, and the third round is a surprise rapid fire round, for which you have to be witty, fun, and quick, and you'll get to win this book, Niche Marketing. So you're giving gifts. Now you're receiving gifts.
Yes.
And, that will be most memorable because I've also organized events, Women's Day, so many things before this coffee started. So it's good to receive gifts. So and for all of you out there, we are starting with the awards also at the Coffee Conference Show. So it will be a yearly award, and because we have got speakers who have done remarkable work, social impact work, like Isha is doing for stray dogs, so many things. Some are into giving time to teaching, mentoring, and so many things they are doing, which is very inspiring. So let's uh, acknowledge and let others know, okay, what they are doing and how they are impacting through this thing. So, friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation and a legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal, startups, and SMEs build world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training solutions. So, my first question for your professional journey around Manasa: what inspired you to specialize in offline branding and live events? And how do you see this field evolving in the digital age?
So what inspired me was it's a bit of a backstory, right? I started my career actually as a BD person, business development. So I was with Coffee Day, the vending machine division. I worked there. I was in Mumbai for a while there, and I actually ended up falling sick, so I had to leave the job. So after that, again, I started with BD, so it only made sense to go into another sales role. So that happened with Citrus, where we were working on a contextual online selling platform called Selfie, SCAAFI, a very fun platform. A lot of small time sellers that we would meet, ask them to post their products online and share links of for sale and everything. Right? It was super fun. But then what happened is I was young and I had the time during the weekends, and I did not know what to do with all the time that I had during Saturdays and Sundays. And I realized there was a marketing team that was working on events, going out there, talking to people, developers especially, and small sellers, merchants, anybody, right? So I thought, why not use up my time? I was getting a t-shirt out of it, so then why not, right? Like all of this, like small things. So I did not know what I wanted to do back then. I thought maybe I will continue to be a BD person, but then it was fun, so I would go to these events. So happened that the product that we were working on had to sunset, and then there was an opening. Very, I think, serendipitous, right? It just happened, and then I sort of did not want to give up on the chance, and I took up this role. So started very small, would go, would events would be being organized by others, and we would do even these webinars and virtual sessions online for our partners with startups, especially places like NASCOM, etc. We would do these online sessions, and also these offline, small time offline events, maybe 30, 40 merchants that we would talk to, Bangalore, Gurgaon, Delhi, or Bombay, and then we started opening it up to the smaller cities as well. So the thrill of it, of being an offline plus an online events person, was different. So start never did I really think that I would be where I am today, leading like a piece for PayU especially. But yeah, it's so much more different. And then it's technology has actually helped. So what we would do back then is we had Blue Jeans webinar tool. I don't know if you have heard of it. Pre Zoom and before everything became famous, it was like a webinar tool. Actually, it was like a Teams meeting tool as well, like our Teams, Microsoft Teams right now, and they would also have a webinar tool. So that is what we would use. But there has been so much changes since then that we have currently started using streams that allow us to use it, probably not just record and use it at a later stage, but also go live on LinkedIn at the same time, or on Twitter, or on maybe YouTube. So all of these things have come in as a requirement mostly, but now it is a part of every event person's life. Like you cannot live without, or have a good, like give a good experience to your internal as well as your external stakeholders without this. So I think technology has really sort of furthered our cause to reach out to our audience, internal, external, everything. So technology is, I think, an event person's biggest tool, and that has really, like, a lot of things have helped us, and that's going to continue to grow, I think, and it's dynamic like it is. So for us, more learning as we go, and for me, it's learning every day. So today something is there, tomorrow it will not be there. So we have to keep picking up on it.
Wow. So good. You're leading me to my next question, which is going to come later. As you said, technology is helping. So how has technology evolved from the days you joined and during the pandemic and now? What changes have you seen, and what more changes will be coming in?
See, what we used to do, like I told you, we had this tool called Blue Jeans. That was where you could register and just come, and it was a closed door. So I only am able to reach out to my current audience. So now you and I are talking, it's just between you and me, and maybe if somebody else is joining on this particular session, then it's them, only them. But it's very closed door. But right now, through Zoom, what we are doing is we are trying to reach out to a larger audience who then can share these links with their audience. If they want to learn from this, then they share it with their peers and things like that. So that was never something that we had even imagined, I believe. So that is something that just came into being as a need, plus as as just changes that was what it had to happen. So it just came in, it just happened. What we observed in COVID was, like I told you, we used to do these smaller sessions. We used to call them Upstart or Code Up. What we realized is offline is not going to happen during COVID. How do we shift that sort of, that same idea, but continue to reach out to our folks and continue to engage with this many people, and probably more if possible. So with offline, what happens, there's a lot of logistics involved, planning and everything, because you need your speakers to come to a particular location, you need your stakeholders, your audience to come to a particular location. So lots of wheels turning, right? But with online, that's not the case. So you you present you bring your folks together on a camera or on your laptop, then you sort of figure that out, and then you go out to the larger world. So that's what we did. We realized there is no better time to do it than during COVID, and we started doing about 8 to 10 sessions per month, which was not never going to happen with an offline mode, because it is impossible, highly impossible for me, just one person, to maybe travel to 10 locations in a month and sort of run this event. So it really helps. So I think COVID was learning. And I realized without going offline and as well as online, events will not make an impact. So we continue to do offline events now in the form of sponsorships and everything else and small meetups. But our online has now decreased because there's been so many other sessions coming up now, like we are talking here. There are so many uh, generic conversations that come up, so just payments or just maybe fintech is not the way to go. So we also come up with different topics. Sometimes we have done like women's month, so every March and every November we would go back to our internal women employees and leaders and talk to the world about what pushes women to do what they do and things like that, right? And just maybe some topical topics as well, generic topics that make sense for the current season or current month, and then we would go in. And yeah, that's what we have done on online as well as offline.
Wow, beautiful. So, same thing is happening at Coffee. We uh, started from 2024, started doing in person. As you said, I can't do in person every, or team can't do every day.
True.
So, with technology, that's why we have crossed 350 plus episodes and gone to international. So, thanks to credit goes to Zoom and the other technology platforms, that was making possible. But in person ka, as you said, offline thing brings a charm. So we have seen ke bhai, speakers are coming up ke bhai, we need in person, but we can in a month maximum 8 we can accommodate,
Yeah.
because in person we do it on Saturdays. We have kept it, or otherwise in weekday it can happen once. That is, but we have with Coffee also, we have now come up with panel discussions, special episodes. We are now having fireside chat also. So Women's Day, a lot of action are planned, and with you, Isha, and others, we are planning something. We'll we connect with you and plan out, because there is one cyber safety cup. We want to do something. Then on since your series was Stree Shakti, so women achievers, so like that. 14th last month, that was apna cyber security, sorry, International Privacy Day. So we did a panel discussion on data privacy with our Coffee speakers.
The need of the
So
hour, Amir, so makes sense to
yeah,
sort of have these conversations.
so now Coffee speakers become part of the community, which is Coffee Tribe. So this is what brings them closure and more interactions. So my next question, as you refer to sponsorships, what's been your approach to managing sponsorships for industry events, and how do you align branding goals with sponsorship opportunities?
So this is sort of a thing that probably evolves as we go, right? Why I am thinking so much when I'm putting it out there is I I want to be clear as to how we sort of pick it up. So for us, we have one or two, three things that we probably need when we sponsor. So if all those goals are met with a particular sponsorship, then we go ahead. It's not about probably competition being a part of it, or it's not about how much money we are putting into it. It's about the goals or the deliverables that we seek. If they are met, then we go ahead. There is no doubt about wanting to explore something. If every tick in the box, if all the boxes are ticked and it is as per what we wanted and the particular duration and there's enough time to plan it, then we go ahead. That's as simple as our sponsorship strategy works. And when we do all this, the biggest goal obviously has to be branding. So without that, then we are failing to do what we need to do, right? Because we are putting ourselves out in a forum. Any 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 sponsorship event that we do is no less than 5,000 people that are going to be a part of it, not just offline, not just at the event location, but also on your websites, on your social, on your anything, right? Maybe on radio, somebody talks about something on the newspaper. So we have different forums in which our branding goes out. So I have to make sure, as the person who handles this internally, that what we want is met during these events. So if it's not, it's just not, and we don't explore it. I think my counterpart also, like who has been a part of the coffee conversation before, she herself, Isha herself, also looks at all of these things when she plans this. She's also an offline branding person like me, and then it just matters to us. Why? Because what we are putting out, we are putting out as PayU. I'm not putting it out as me, Mansa. Like, I'm not doing that for me. It is all about PayU in the end. And there's only so much that I can splurge or I can do when it comes to a official, a professional setup. And I need to make sure my stakeholders, internal especially, uh, like I've done right by them. So without doing the right things, then I don't do right by them, and that doesn't make sense for me. So all of these things are something that we make sure. And then also it depends on the audience, right? Who comes in and who interacts with us. Maybe we get leads, maybe it's about thought leadership at certain events because our speakers put out are going out there. So all of these things. But obviously the most important and P0 in these conversations are branding, is the branding piece. And our branding are the different branding forums, like I told you, maybe OOH, maybe your website, maybe just your social posts, so anything of that sort.
So, Manasa, uh, event management is what do you say, a delicate and critical work area. So, what are the key elements, according to you, for managing different stakeholders?
See, first of all, you can't make everybody happy, and that is something that's going to be as it is. But what we try to do is, like I told you, I have to do right by the company. So it's about what I do, the money I put in, and the deliverables I get. Are they met? And are these events that we explore in the business? Are the people who are in the business seeking something like this out? Does it make sense for them to be a part of it? Not just the business, right? Could be the tech team, could be the product team, or could be anybody for that matter, even the finance team, if it makes sense. So does this make sense for us to be a part of it? Does it make sense in the form of budgets? Like, is it worth our while, the things we are getting versus the money that we are putting in, and all of these, right? Without certain things explored, or making sure that we wouldn't explore something, we just wouldn't go there. So that's as simple as that. Simple. Without these certain tick in the boxes, I will not be moving ahead with something like a sponsorship. So that's as simple as that.
Beautiful. So, Manasa, you have worked extensively in corporate events, live events, and event-based marketing. Which of these has been the most challenging yet rewarding, and why?
I think life is pretty challenging because I was telling you, it is a ever dynamic sort of an environment. Anything can go wrong, right? Now, God forbid, something happens, I lose my internet, like my wi-fi goes down, or my the power in the building goes out, this session will stop. So is it something that we can control? No, but it is something that is expected to be controlled by us, yes. So that is definitely the most challenging. That is definitely the most scariest part of an event as well, especially live. But that being said, life is something I cannot control, I know, and a lot of people outside also know. And the expectation is that we control it to a large extent, which we usually are comfortable with. Now I know my phone is right on my side with hotspot on in case my Wi-Fi goes down. I have power backup, so I know the power will come back on. Attendees, can I manage? Can I control? Yes, to a large extent, if I make sure I promote it the right way. So all of this are under control. But also in an offline event, when you're sponsoring, you don't know the kind of people that are going to come in. You don't know if that event even will happen. Maybe there is a situation where for some reason there is a band, or there is something, right? Like, it is so out of natural causes. So how do you sort of control events? You don't. You just hope and sort of put faith in the fact that you have done your best and sort of take it forward. And this is something that took me a long time to learn, and I'm sure I still doubt myself multiple times when I do these things. But I will continue to tell myself that whatever is in my control is in my control, and I will take care of it. But what is not, just not. So yes, that's how it is.
Wow. So, continuing. So, Manasa, how do you balance creativity and strategy when organizing events for diverse audience, such as startups, merchants, developers, and others?
So with these three parties, right, it's all different. Like, the kind of, I think, expectation they all have and they come into an event are different. So a developer would want very tech related, very tech savvy conversations, because they know probably more than me in whatever they are doing, because I cannot be a speaker for them. I can only talk to other event folks, or probably other offline folks or other marketing folks, because that is my expertise. But am I an expert there? No. So if I have to bring in somebody to talk to them, the kind of speaker that I bring in also has to be somebody of that level. It cannot be somebody small. So those kind of things, right? Now if I'm bringing merchants in, like these could be regular founders, regular business leads of startups and everything. I cannot bring in somebody not quite the leadership level, or somebody that these people don't look up to. It needs to be another founder or CEO, either from their sector or from outside, but a very successful one. So only then does it make sense for these people to log in to my live event or be a part of my conversation or a meetup. Only then do they see some requirement, or do they see some value in being a part of it. Same goes for startups as well. So same, like I was telling, merchant or startups, they are all the kind of people they're looking forward to are different. So with the even giveaways, right? If you are giving something to a developer, the same might not work as a giveaway or as a memento to a startup maybe. So for a startup you can give so many other things, give them mentor hours and stuff like that, but that may not work for a developer might want to talk to somebody, or might want to take a giveaway that seems very very techy oriented. I don't know what that would be. I would have to look it up, because like I told you, it's always changing. So yeah, so things like that. So it is so different, like everywhere the strategy will be different. And balancing that with like creativity is obviously important, because like I told you, even in terms of a giveaway, a maybe creative forum like a giveaway also might be different for these guys versus those. So absolutely, like it's going to be so different, but balancing it is of utmost importance.
Wow. So, Manasa, uh, what have been the pivotal moments as senior lead at PayU?
Okay, this is not when I was a senior lead, but it goes back to one of the uh, first few years being a part of events. I was leading that piece because I was sort of senior in that at that moment. We did an event in Indore. We did it with Witty Feed as our partner, and we expected about, it was an offline session, and we thought Indore how many people would turn up, right? And we had wonderful other partners as well. So it goes back to my friends at Engineer Babu, Mayank, and Aditi. So they themselves also were a part of our they were also partners with us, and the folks at VT Feed, Shashank and team. And what we did was, we went there. We did not know. We thought what, 100 people had registered. Yeah, so we thought maybe 50 people would come in, right? 100 versus 50, it's not, it's you, how many can you expect? 70. Okay, maybe 70 would come in. We went there, we started on time, and as we were about to start, we saw and we had booked enough food for 100, because we thought, okay, 70 no, but 100 people have registered, so that many would come in. And at the end of the event, we had 250 people sitting on the floor, standing behind, and just wanting to be a part of that conversation. Then we realized we were one of the first few bigger companies to have gone there and seen actually that there is a market for this. And the kind of audience that had come, young college going startup founders, because what I've seen in smaller cities like Indore back then, that it was a smaller city startup wise, but now it's pretty much one of the biggest, and so many new companies are coming out of there. But back then, what they were so close knit, so everybody would know each other. So this particular person would know the speaker on the floor, and he would ask him or her a certain question, and that would be answered. And then they would say, you know what, let's talk about it offline as well. You come and meet me in office on Monday after your college, obviously, so that it doesn't interrupt your studies, but you don't stop your what you're doing. Your entrepreneurship spirit doesn't die down. We keep pushing onto it and we keep going. But that was probably one of the biggest things, and I knew not to judge post that so-called smaller cities in my head are not actually small cities. They are big, they are growing, and now we have so many success stories coming out of there. So there's no I think end to that, so it will keep growing. Maybe that is one of the best things that I still remember. I still talk to people about it and I still can't get over. So I expected 100 people, 250 people are there, and we have not ordered enough food. We are ordering, but we know it will not be ready by in the next 2 hours. So our partners themselves go out, buy samosa and soft drinks for our audience. We have never felt so at home and so at peace when we did an event before that and after that. I can assure you I have not felt that comfortable after that. I know it's my partners, I know it's the audience that came in, and also the team. But wonderful event that I've ever done, the most wonderful event. I seriously
So that was a memorable. Let's
memorable.
have some. You must have experienced some funny moments also. So what are those?
So funny moments usually happen because I usually forget something that needs to be done, or somebody just forgets. But funny moments for me would be I'm going somewhere and I know I'm ready for an event. I know everything is done, but I keep telling myself that I've forgotten something. It's either that I've forgotten a pen drive for the TV that needs to run like with the videos, because that's very important. Fortunately, I'm somebody who carries a lot more things and I will have a pen drive somewhere. But these smaller things, right, that I cannot for the life of me remember to carry, but I know it's important and it's something that I note, and I just that just doesn't happen. But it's not funny, but it's rather cute. So when we go to these bigger events, we take giveaways, right, to give to the audience, whoever comes and interacts with us. And then there'll be some people who just come to our store to talk to, like come to our stall to talk to us, and we know what they are coming for. We know it's a bottle or we know it's something, so we just give it to them and tell them that, you know what, we understand and that's okay. Please feel free to come in and ask us and go. And even I think housekeeping staff and people who manage like the AV and all of that, right, even they come and ask. So it's not funny, but it's cute that they, whatever we have made is something that they seem worthwhile, that they want to take it home or carry it home. And they have stories. They say, my kid would like it, and so I'm going to take it. If it's a young woman or a man, then they say, my mother would like it, or my family would like it, or my brother would like it. So it's nice. So things like these sort of remain in the head. You think of this even later. But yeah, it's something that you keep, that is a memory that you keep in your head for a while. True.
Yeah. Anything which you are not prepared. So I can see that you're very well organized. Uh, A plan, B plan, C plan. What, God forbid, your A, B, C doesn't work. Then how do you manage?
So see, that is a scary moment, right? And that can happen, and it has happened. So it's not something that will never happen. So we are, I think, like I told you, we are prepared for the worst, and that's why a lot of us carry a lot of anxiety with us wherever we go, because we can't help it, because we are scared about what can go wrong. But like I told you, if I am not confident enough, if something is not going to go like it's going to go, we just have to live with it. And probably there is a, like you said, there will always be a plan B to everything. So if it's an online event, then we have things. Like I told you, I will carry a pen drive, but the pen drive that is already loaded with the videos will not be there. I've left it either somewhere. Either I don't have my cards, then what do? I take my colleagues cards, write my name, and give it off to people who come and interact. Because who comes to talk to us specifically is other stall fabricators, other marketing agencies, event marketing agency, so who will probably onboard me as a client from PayU. So things like that, those come to me. So I will not have a card probably. So all of these are very small things, but plan A, plan B has to be there. Plan A is anyway the event flow, that is somewhere, anyway it's a part of it. Plan B is probably you work around with a few things if they are not there. So that is anyway calculated. Maybe something like a food is not arranged for, or maybe in the case of failure, wi-fi technology failure, wi-fi could be, power could be, this one, that one, anything. So you are already planned. But even then that doesn't work, then there is a C, which you will still work around with. I hope there is never a plan C in my life, but I like I told you, I know that there can be anything. So that is how it is. And if nothing works out, okay, we have planned everything and the event just doesn't happen, and that also we are okay with, because we have had a situation where, because of a colleague's health issues, we had to cancel a event. So we sent out an emailer to all of the attendees saying, we are very sorry for this cancellation and rescheduling, but we will reschedule, we will do this. but currently our colleagues' health is of prime importance and we want to figure that out first. So all of this happens, right? And that is unfortunately a part of an event marketer's life, and that's what we are prepared for it. But yeah, we hope that and we have faith in ourselves that it never comes to that point.
Beautiful said. So, Manasa, any dream event you want to plan and organize in your career?
So first of all, I want to do at PayU itself probably in-house event, right? That is something maybe that I would like to do. I don't know if that would ever happen, but then that is something I would definitely want to do. But then otherwise, I come from fintech, so there is this Money 2020 series of events that happens across the world. So I've seen so many pictures. I've been a part of the industry, so I know what happens. If I could do, probably they have one in Europe, they'll have one in the US, so all of that, right? Even getting a chance to organize any one of them, like be a part, not just organize, but be a part as a payu, or then probably be a part of the organizing committee in some event like that. So things like that are really events like that are fun, and they are big and they are huge. And to know what goes on, we do know what goes on, but we are not on the other side of it. So we're usually the clients to them, so we are not usually the vendor side of it, or we are not on the organizer side of it. That would be fun. I think that would be crazy, but that would be fun as well.
Wow. So, for an event planner, what advice would you give when organizing events on a big scale? Especially now, offline are being more innovative, creative with the gifts, everything, and yeah, audio, visual setups, everything. Because I've been fortunate to attend events now. I'll give you an example. There is this in our community. A foundation is there for senior citizens and further education. They've organized this. I was invited to be a part of their for the donors and special invitees. They did at a Lokhandwala. They had booked this event hall and the kids were doing skates, audio visuals, so much. It was high tech. So, what advice would you give to this young event planners? Like I was zapped because it was organized so professionally, and NGO is doing.
Yeah.
I was fortunate कि everything planned out. The special guests who were there, the gifts, food, and everything.
Yeah. So I think, Amir, in this case, no, what happens is we have to know our limitations, right, as event planners. So if a big scale event comes in, it's not something that I or the team put together can do it. Then you go to an organizer, like a proper event marketing agency that does these things. So you sort of partner with them, tell them your vision, tell them your brief, and help them understand where you're coming from, and with their support scale it. So you know what you want, they can deliver that for you, but then you have to then meet them halfway to make sure your ideas and your vision is delivered. So as long as that meeting happens, you know that you're going to have a good experience. So your example must be a very very good brief given by the NGO to the company, whoever they've partnered with, to make it happen, because they wanted a good experience for their donors, for the people who are a big part of their the things that they do as an NGO, and the way they are able to do the things that they are able to do for their final for people who are in need. So because without you they are not there, so they wanted to make sure you know that, and they wanted to appreciate, and they wanted to express their gratitude. So the same goes, right? As long as I'm able to deliver my vision, and these people are able to deliver the final output, that should not be a problem at all. So obviously it depends on who I work with, how many people do I talk to, and how many able to are able to understand what I want. And it's not just the event experience as in the day of the event, it's everything else, right? Like you said, food stood out for you, the FNB, right? Could be anything, the kind of setup, the stage, the lights, the AV, the ticketing experience, the back end of it, the ticketing experience, your agendas to be shared, how is that going, how are you communicating to the people who have registered, your registration, even your registration desk at the venue, actually I wanted to say website, how is that, right? Like how are you, your online presence, your offline presence, your at event, your post event. So all of that is a very big part of it. So as long as you are able to get somebody to partner with, and them also understand your vision, then there is nothing stopping you. Absolutely nothing. So I think I, and also, right, what happens is, know that your team is, has your back, know that your team is there with you, has your back, not just your internal team, and or it's also the team that you're onboarding to help with, so whoever is your partner agency there. So know that they have your back, know that they're going to support you, because they themselves are looking for a success story as well out of you. Because if you're happy, you talk to 10 people about them, then they get 10 more business opportunities, right? So there's nothing stopping them if they do a very good business with you. And that's how most of my partners get more jobs. So I talk, if they are, if they have made a good impact on me, then I know I'm going to talk about them to everybody. And that is only because of the work they were able to deliver. Obviously it's my vision, but without them that would not have been fulfilled. So simple as that.
Beautiful. Okay. So my last question for your professional journey around Manasa. If you're mentoring someone new to branding and event marketing, what would be your top piece of advice for them?
I think this is something I told you, I through the conversation, right? We know things can go wrong, um, but we sort of build ourselves. We have learned all of this. We have been doing all of this for a long time now. We trust ourselves to deliver and to make sure we I don't know, provide value to the external stakeholders, people who are coming in as audience, maybe in any event, maybe internal, external, anywhere, and to our leaders, internal leaders and peers, internal stakeholders, that is. And also that have faith in the whole piece, that at the end of the day you are going to do a good job, and if something goes wrong you will be able to turn it around for yourself and make sure you add value to whoever is a part of it. It's as simple as that. Things are not going to go exactly how you want it, but that shouldn't stop us from wanting to explore or wanting to take a risky decision. Risky, I mean, not sort of splurge money and know that I'm not going to get anything out of it, but like a situation where I want to do something, I know it might not be the best, but if it does turn out, it will be a very good learning, plus a very good showcase of my brand probably out there. So yeah, nothing stopping us. Do what we need to do, and as long as people have your back, then go for it.
Wow.
That is probably something I would say to somebody I was mentoring.
That was also mentoring. I'm a little curious, one or two questions. Like, if someone wants to join, like an event company or uh, this at a corporate, which they have their event marketing department. So, uh, what they should focus on to develop that skills before they are venturing into, because this is what you say, you have to be that extrovert person because you're dealing with too many people, stakeholders, everything. And besides education, there are other things to be also developed before they come into this highly creative and yeah, action oriented field.
Yeah, I'm very plus on that, action oriented, right? It is a very action oriented field. There is no time that it is quiet. So I have, probably, even to just plan leaves, it's a bit of a hassle, because I'm not sure when something will come up, and I know my calendars. Like my calendars are ready in the beginning of the year, probably before that, in my mind at least. Maybe not on paper, but in my mind. But I still know that anything can come up anytime. So I cannot plan long leaves. It's one of the biggest things that sort of come into our lives, especially be it in a corporate events, corporate brand side of it, or even as a event manager on that side, right? I cannot speak much for event managers because their lives would be much different from mine, because theirs would be one brand after the other that they are continuing to deliver for, but I continue to deliver only for one particular brand. But yes, I think some of the things, yeah, one is this, that it, it's a lot, it's a lot happening. There's no probable place that it is not action oriented, but also it is more so about just knowing what needs to be done and just doing it. So I would say that it is more so about just doing the right things. I think I am not able to put this in a better way somehow, but it's just knowing what I need to do and continuing to do it, because I did not study this. I am a postgraduate in marketing, but I studied digital, studied social, I studied strategic management, but I did not study events. That doesn't come, I don't think events comes from studying, because I know there are courses right now out there for event management, for brands maybe, and also like a partner, right? Like joining a partner agency or starting your own partner agency. But I have not done that. I have not studied what needs to be studied. But then I picked it up from going to these kind of events. Like I told you how I got into this career in the first place. I went to events, I saw how it's done. I would partner with certain associations in my free time and otherwise. I would talk to them on how they did events. I would see how they did events. I would be a part of it because I'd be a volunteer there. So things like that. So it's not something that came to me because of studying. It was not something that came to me because I already knew it, a little bit of it, and I just put that into practice. It only came because I went with somebody who was already organizing events for the brand. Then I learned it from them. I saw how it's done, and then just started doing it. So with I think events, I did not walk. I had to run. Unfortunate as it was, it really taught me a lot. So it was scary at the beginning. Why I say unfortunate, it's because it was scary. But then that did not stop. I don't think like an event marketer's life is basic, right? It never is. Like we meet hundreds of people. We equally manage external stakeholders as much as we manage internal stakeholders, because like I told you, everybody, we need to keep everybody happy. There can be no one that's probably unhappy with how you're putting out an event, because you need that organizer again, you need that brand with whom you did that event again, so you need to go back to them. And internally you need to make sure your stakeholders are happy at the end of the day. Are you delivering value for the brand? Are you delivering value for their team? So that is all that they're going to look out. So as long as that is sorted, I don't think anybody like it is a difficult job as such. But yeah, a lot to do, not just in events but even in offline, and there's so much to learn. Like I told you, every day something on the other new thing comes into place, and if you're not catching up, then you're lost. So all of that, yes.
Wow. The world of marketing, who has influenced you?
So marketing, I think most of my managers, because not just that I learned from them, but also not just I learned like work related stuff. I learned values. Most of them do push me to be better. That is something that they have to do, because that is a part of their growth as well, right? That's how they scale their role as well. But it's not just that, but I see, like in some of them at least, I have seen that there was a genuine interest in what I did and how I could do better, not just because they had to report it back to their leaders, but because it would make a difference in my life. And some of them I still remember, because there's so many. I've worked with so many, though I've been in the same company for a long time now. I have worked with so many different leaders, sometimes business leads, sometimes marketers. But there's so much that you learn from different people, because either from their experience or from the kind of studies that they've done. Like maybe they have specialized in probably events or like a marketing field that makes sense for me. So yes, it's mostly been my managers, and it's mostly been the kind of not just the work they would put out, but the values that they taught me. So yes, it's mostly them.
Wow. So let's go to the next round and understand Manasa as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
So I think, yeah, I have a sibling. My parents all live in Mangalore. My sibling just came over from Netherlands in the last 2 days, and it has been wonderful, because she has her own little family now. She has a son and her husband, and the son is the my nephew is about 4 years old, and I remember he was born during COVID. So not getting to see him during those years were one of the worst things that could happen to me, because work also was pretty intense, like, right, like I was telling you. And then that used to be something that I would look forward to. So they come once a year, And these days are some of the best days. So it's about being able to see him, play with him. And I've been married for about 4 years now, so he loves spending time with my husband. So seeing two parts of your life come together is the best thing that can happen. So I see sometimes they are just playing, and my nephew is giggling, my husband is talking, and they are just play fighting, rough housing. So all of this is very, very sweet. So all of this is something that has sort of is sort of like a calming agent, because like I told you, work can get very intense. And formative years, it was all spent in Mangalore, the coastal city in Karnataka. So warm, sunny all the time. We did not know what winters were. Very similar to the Mumbai situation. So and we it was just fun. Like I went to an all girls school, so studied in Mangalore, in and around Mangalore for as long as I could, and had to leave the nest finally when I had to work. So yes, that's why I came sort of rushing from Mumbai when I was not well with my first job. So Karnataka keeps calling me back, but yeah, I think being 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 the younger child with the elder sibling who would always look out for me and take care of me has been the best. So she still does. Like I am pretty much a big adult right now, but she still looks out for me, takes care of me. And my brother-in-law is almost like my brother, so he also is a wonderful person, and so is my husband. So it really helps having people around me. And I also have a cat. So growing up, I was a dog person, so Isha and I would vibe on that. But in the last 1 year, I've had a cat, and she sort of takes up my entire life when I come back from office. She's very clingy, like cats are, but she's also very independent. She does her own thing. She takes care of herself. Only thing I need to make sure is her litter is clean and her plate is full, and she's okay. She comes to me for attention and for love, and then she goes on her way. So yes.
So let's go back to your days at Manipal Academy of Higher Education. What are those memories and experience?
So I think there also, right? So like events require, I was an outspoken and sort of like an extroverted person. Nothing stopped me like that, but I still had stage fear. I would not be 100% comfortable in front of a large group, but presentations did not bother me. That I would very calmly and normally do, and that never bothered me. But I think MBA was away from parents, so that was something about living on my own after what, like 18 19 years of being around my parents. So that was pretty harsh, to be put in simpler words. But I was just 60 kilometers away from my parents. If I decided to, I could just go to the main bus stop, take a bus, and just go, or just call my father to come pick me up, and he would. But then I did not want to sort of use that up, because I did not want to be seen as like a child, because all of my most of my classmates and my batchmates were all people from the north, who had come down, all maybe uh, states away to come and do this, and do this course. And it would that would stop me from running home every other day. But yeah, I think that definitely taught me independence. And I was in the student council also, that I was in degree as well as in school and otherwise. So I think that extroverted piece was always a part of me, and that never, no one sort of pushed it into me. But I did not stop myself from exploring, because my parents were not ones to tell me to not do something. If it doesn't affect your overall well-being, and if it's not going to bother you, my parents would just not stop it. So they would ask me to do what I wanted to do. And I also sort of was a lead for I did my degree in my bachelor of science. So I was the that is physical sciences. So all this chemistry and physics and mathematics, computers comes under physical sciences. So I was the physical sciences lead for our annual fest. So that's where that thing probably came into mind. But then I went on to do an MBA, so I thought maybe I will go into sales or strategy. But then again, I did go into sales, then that sort of twisted into events. So maybe somewhere I was meant to sort of come into this line. It did not stop there, so it continued, and so I think I'm here. So all of that probably influenced.
Very beautiful. Okay. So, Manasa, do you have any hobbies or activities that inspire your creativity at work?
So actually, like, to be honest, right, I don't think I'm as creative as I should probably be. But if you talk to me, I used to cycle a lot, so I probably don't like being held in by something, but because of Netflix and every other OTT out there, I do sort of like stay back because after work I'm pretty tired and I just want to probably just relax and unwind. And because again, the next day I go back to my office, so all of that. But creativity, I think hobbies as such, I like to be outside. I don't know how to define it as a hobby or such, but I like to be outside. I never liked much crafts and stuff growing up, even in my school times. That was a part of our curriculum, right? I was never like somebody who scored well in that. I had classmates who used to be like beautiful, artistic, creative, and everything. That was not me. But still, I think I like to be outside. I do like photography. I do like to. I do have a DSLR camera when DSLR cameras were like the famous thing. I did sort of cry to my parents and they did buy me one, poor things, for my birthday. I think, yeah, they got it for my birthday because they were like, yeah, let her be happy. If she wants to do this, let her explore it. But yes, it is not, it is something that keeps me outside, I think. So I try to follow it, but otherwise nothing creative about it. But I like to read books. That is my thing. So I can probably be lost in a book for hours together and will not know what has happened around me. And that's something that I picked up from my father. So he would do it so that my vocabulary would uh, probably get better. But that, more than that, I sort of got hooked onto it. And I'm a fiction person. I don't like non-fiction. I cannot do serious stuff, but I will read in case required. That also has to have some like intriguing, like an investigative angle to it. Probably then I will read. But otherwise, it's a fiction book for me and trying to be outdoors.
Wow. So, Manasa, which has been your most memorable travel trip and why?
My sister, like I told you, is in the Netherlands, and I got to see Europe because of that. So we had getting somebody on a Schengen visa as an invitee or a sponsor is easier. So you don't get Schengen visa is notoriously famous for being cancelled. Like they will reject visa left, right, and center. So I was fortunately able to get it because of being an invitee because I had family there. So all of that was probably a very memorable trip because I never thought I would someday stand in front of Eiffel Tower with my parents and my sister. Like I told you, she's somebody who's always looked out for me, and I know she will continue to do it. So so that was probably a very memorable trip. But when I was younger, my parents would take these short trips in and around maybe 200 kilometers, no more than that, just maybe a 4 to 5 hour drive because the roads were not that great back then. And we would have like an overnight stay in something. So mostly it was pilgrimage or religious in nature. But yeah, it was fun. But I don't remember anything specifically. But this one I do remember, and that was really fun because it had different, like it had my original family as a part of it, not the family I came about to be a part of. So yes,
So, what's one fun fact that people don't know about you?
I am not as extroverted as I seem to be. You yourself said that I seem extroverted, but I'm not. It is not fun fact, but it is true.
It's fine. Okay. What's your bucket list uh, you've planned for 2025 professionally and personally?
Professionally, I want to be able to do more events, probably have like a team so that I can learn from them and I can teach them and mentor them, like we were talking. Personally, I want to be able to do one or two international events with my international trips with my husband, because we have not done one together. We do a lot of in India trips, but we have not done one outside of it because now we have a cat and she can be handled by my parents. But yeah, I would like that, and I hope he sees this and then realizes that I this is what I want to do.
Wow. Since this is a Sri Shakti series, what does Sri Shakti mean to you?
Women empowerment without fear of judgment. So I think with women, when we are strong, when we are putting ourselves out there, there's always a fear of judgment. At least for me, there is. And I see other women being judged for what they want to do just because for them freedom might mean something else, what it doesn't mean to me or to you. And people are judged, like women especially are judged. Unfortunate as it is, we are in 2025, but women continue to be oppressed. And if they are empowered, there is some other angle to it of judgments, of hate messages and all of that. I hope like this is it, a world without that is what Stree Shakti and women empowerment should be.
Wow. So my last question, which will be a googly one, describe Manasa in one line.
Oh, that I'm very surprised it takes me a long time to do it. Uh, this is what I hope that I am. So this that is why I'm describing myself like that. Kind, outspoken, and fun to be around. Hopefully, like I told you.
Wow. Okay, let's go and have some fun.
Yes,
The rapid fire round. One skill you're proud of.
my outspoken nature.
Favorite place to visit in Bangalore.
Favorite place to visit? There's a Korean place called Hai Seoul. Amazing Korean food.
Wow. Go to comfort food.
Kori roti. It's like a chicken and rice um, thing that we Mangaloreans eat. Kori roti. Amazing.
Wow. Most inspiring woman in your life. Don't say sister.
Okay. I think that's my mother. She comes from a background that did not allow much education, but she is what she is, and I admire her for that.
Wow. A mantra you live by.
If it has to happen, it will happen, and that is what it is. And such is life. Like "CA Lavi" is a thing, and I would have it posted on my wall when I was single and living alone. So yes, "CA Lavi." Like what such is life. It will happen if it's meant to happen.
Wow. Favorite event you have organized.
Being a part of GFF. So I have organized, matlab, we have sponsored. So GFF, any GFF, because it brings the whole company together.
Wow. Uh, Favorite food dish from Bangalore.
I told you core roti, then it is probably chicken ghee roast. Again, all non-vegetarian, but yeah, a Mangalorean.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Branding guru you admire.
I actually don't follow many. Like I told you, it's mostly my managers that I learn from. So could be my current head of marketing.
Wow. Okay. Your favorite color
Blue.
and your favorite movie.
कुछ कुछ होता है. Grew up watching it, so yes.
My last one. Best piece of advice received.
Don't doubt yourself so much. Leave it to others.
Beautiful. So you did well. This will be autographed and sent to you as a
Thank you so
gift.
much. Thank you, Amir.
So it was a lovely conversation having with Manasa. Her journey, very inspiring, from a dog lover now to a cat lover and bucket list. We hope she gets to visit international trip with her husband. So this episode is all about branding, event marketing, offline, online. So whoever wants to venture into the field of event marketing, like they want to be employed or who wants to have their own startup, this episode is all about the finer nuances as Manas has taken us through, right from the sponsorships, online and offline event, what are the key elements to be considered, how different stakeholders are to be managed. So this is an action-oriented industry to be in. So all those action-oriented people watch this episode. So like this, there are over 350 plus episodes with different coffee speakers who have got inspiring stories from their personal and professional journeys. Uh, Subscribe to the channel, The Coffee Con Show, and you'll get those episodes. If you want to be featured like Manasa, but she was recommended referred by one of our coffee speakers, Isha Sinha Chaudhary. But there are other ways to get invited, get featured. Our LinkedIn company page, the Emerging India Forum, our website is there. You can comment, leave a message, and our team will connect with you and get you featured to share your inspiring story through a cup of coffee. Thank you.
Thank you, Amir.